just that much hope, you know, everything, because I had none. I had no hope. Um, I was in really, really bad shape, and it wasn't getting better, and I didn't know what was happening. I woke up in in all over body pain. My hands, my knees, my shoulders, my hips, and my neck. Couldn't barely look over my shoulder, and to do it felt like I was gonna snap something in my neck. Plus, I was 290 pounds. I'm 6'1". I couldn't open a bottle of water. I was using my teeth. Or what else was I using to do it? I forget what. Oh, a wrench. A pliers. I had a freaking pliers to open my waters. You know, I honestly couldn't open. You know, and it's so crazy because the amount of force that it takes to open one of these is tiny, is a minuscule amount. It's not like even opening a soda or a Gatorade. It's like very weak caps on the water bottles. It was just terrible. Everything was. It was 8 out of 10 pain. I could barely use the toilet bowl correctly. It was too low. I had to have a handicap lift put on the toilet seat so that I could get on and off it easier. But I was taking handfuls of NSAIDs. But I was terrified, and finally I made an appointment with the doctor, and they did a blood tests. You know, the sedimentation rates and the CRP and all of that, and they were all off the charts. CRP was 140, sedimentation rate was 80, and my cortisol was 27. They confirmed that I was in having an autoimmune reaction. Zeroed in on Sjogren's as the situation that I was in, causing me joint pain everywhere. So they put me on prednisone for 2 weeks, and you have to go see a specialist. They gave me a referral to a rheumatologist. That appointment was for 6 months down the road, and I was just in agony. But in the meantime, I knew I was on my own. That's when I did my diligence and followed the links, and they brought me to you. And that's when the story starts to turn into something better. But you promised me that it would benefit me, and you had no doubt that it would help. That it would help me. So the first 3 days, I got hungry, and I had headaches at that point. I had a rash on my back that was itching like crazy. I had tinnitus at a level 10 at that stage. Probably was 5 or 6 days into the fast. I was able to the first thing I was able to do was to pour water and open a water bottle with my left hand. That was the first time in 4 months. After 4 days of fasting, I was able to open, and I'm right-handed. I still couldn't use my right hand, but after 4 or 5 days of fasting, I was able to open a water bottle without a wrench and without a pliers. And it seems crazy, but that was a huge victory. I haven't really even thought about that in quite a while, man. That to be able to open the water bottle was like, this is working. That was the first. It was obviously working. I couldn't the day before open a water bottle. Then I could open a water bottle. In my left shoulder, I was able to use my left shoulder to put away things from the dishwasher up into a cabinet. The day before I couldn't. And my left knee gave me some freedom of movement back and forth and around the house. That was the first thing. The first things, for some reason, the left side started to unlock. And then after about 8 days or 9 days, the right side started to unlock. But my right knee was a cantaloupe. And it was after about 8 or 9 days that went down, and I was able to they almost looked the same, my knees, and I was able to put my pants on normally, standing up for the first time in 4 months. During that first 2 weeks, then coming into the third week, I was able to I was now able to take stuff. My shoulder was starting to get better. I was able to pour water out of the jug with the right hand, and it was 18 days. And the 19th day, I was just ready to eat, kind of. So I was like, I had enough. I got to have some juice so I could get to eating. Broccoli and raw broccoli and carrots never, they never seemed so delicious. But we had sweet potatoes and potatoes, and everything went from an 8 to a 2, except for the shoulder. And I stuck with the diet, and so I'm finally sleeping without pain after 4 months. No pain in my shoulders and sleeping from the diet. And you told me that the diet, sticking with the diet was going to be imperative, and that it's going to keep getting a little bit better. Sometimes the fast doesn't just completely cure people, but it's the diet afterwards that you stick with it, and it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I've done blood testing with the rheumatologist now a couple times. So my CRP it started out with in the height of this was 145, and it came down to 3. And my sedimentation rate was 80, and it came down to 6. There's a Sjogren's IG number, ABIG. It actually went from a 7 to a 13, and now it's back down to a 4, which is that's normalization number. That's not having Sjogren's, basically. Cortisol numbers went from 27 down to a 6. PSA went from a 5 to a 3.3. Extra protein in urine, that's all cleared up. That's all down. My cholesterol is, completely normal. My blood pressure is consistently between 120 and 130 over 70 to 80, and it was like 160 over 90. The remote aspect of this was absolutely perfect for me, because I wouldn't have done it otherwise. To be, I like where I live. There's a lot of serenity in this property and in my house, and having all my stuff around, and going away to do it wouldn't have worked for me. It was absolutely perfect. I recommend it to anybody that'll listen to me. They all look at me like I'm out of my mind, but everybody complains about the diet, how hard it is. It was easy. The diet is easy after you fast. It's just delicious. And I'm in better shape now than I was in the last 5 years. This whole episode really saved my life. You saved my life. I was headed for something worse than an autoimmune disease. I think the autoimmune disease was the light load that hit me. I could have had a stroke or a heart attack in a second, and I could have been in a position that I couldn't come back from. If you're a person that has had this autoimmune thing hit you overnight, and you're stumbling upon this, you have to start with fasting. You have to go right to it, and then stick to the diet. It's about being your own doctor, and healing yourself.